What is going on, guys? So if you're like me, I have terrible handwriting. I'm going to throw it out there, chicken scratch. And I am looking for a way, because I do like to handwrite notes. I like to be able to underline things, do all sorts of little doodles and things like that while I'm in meetings and things like that, taking notes. But then I also want to be able to convert those into digital text. And that is where the iFLYTEK AINOTE Air comes into play. So with that said, let's take a look. Now, first things first, I do want to thank iFLYTEK for sending this over for us to take a look at. I'm excited to be one of the very first people to be able to touch this and use this, but ultimately I want to show you guys what this thing can do, so hopefully you can find it valuable and implementable, if that's a word, into your daily life. So with that said, let's unbox it and see what's up. First things first, this thing is super sleek, very responsive, and the writing experience is super buttery smooth. I was really impressed. That was the biggest thing I was concerned with when I first pulled this out of the box, is like, how is it gonna feel? It feels like paper, which is really nice. And the delay, there's no delay in the pen and all that kind of stuff. It just feels really well done, and overall makes the functionality a dream. Now, the other thing that's really cool is everything else that it can do. Now, this bad boy has real-time transcription in 14 different languages, so you can record meetings and have them transcribed instantly, which is awesome. So you don't even have to do frantic note taking because the AINOTE can do the heavy lifting for you. The other thing that's awesome about this is that it can integrate into your handwritten notes seamlessly. You can convert them to text, as I mentioned, and it even lets you search by keywords. So really what it comes down to, this thing just boosts overall productivity. And then when it's time to chill, the paper-like reading experience is basically just like a Kindle or another type of device where you can read ebooks on here. The other thing that's really cool is it has a camera on here, and you can actually scan documents into here, and then you have them and you can manipulate them, you can write on them, you can take notes on them. There's so much functionality that this little thing can do. It's awesome. Now, as I mentioned, it does do, as I mentioned, it does 14 languages in transcription, but not to mention, on top of that, it can do 7 languages of translation and up to 83 languages for converting handwriting to text. So realistically, whatever language you're working with, whether you're writing in it, speaking in it, listening in it, it's going to be able to use its AI functionality to convert that into a bunch of different ways of being able to manipulate that text and storing it, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, the other cool thing is the included pen. Now, this pen not only is super sleek, it magnetizes to the side so it keeps itself nice and contained, but when it comes down to it, it has a built-in eraser. You don't need to do any recharging. There's no recharging required whatsoever. Has 4 different pen styles, super responsive and very lightweight. Feels like a really nice pen that you would write with. Overall, the functionality between that and the screen has been flawless. The other thing that I think is really cool is when I was working on this, you can basically do these little you can do circles or stars next to handwritings to mark them as a notable feature inside there. So you can draw a circle around it or mark it so that you can basically know that it is something that's important to make note of. So not only is it just intelligent just in general, but even with little indications, once you kind of learn all the different little things you can do with it, this can really help you take more effective notes, remember things later, and just keep things a little bit more organized. Now, when it comes to specs on this thing, it is absolutely very well built. It is fully made out of a metal design. So the whole body is a metal body. It's ultra thin. It's at 0.2 inches in thickness. It weighs 0.51 pounds in total, which makes it really light, very thin, very easy to carry around with you. It's got a 2600 milliamp battery in there, so that's going to last you a good long time. It has 4 microphones built into it. It's got speakers, so it's going to pick things up really well. It's Bluetooth compatible, Wi-Fi compatible. You can change the coloring to be kind of like white, a warm or a cold light. So depending on your reading style and how you want the screen to look and function, you can adjust that as well. Now, on top of that, it has 4 gigabytes built in, but you can add a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, which is also really nice. So you can span that storage to kind of fit all the needs that you could possibly have. So guys, at the end of the day, if you're looking for a device that is super lightweight, very functional, harnesses the power of AI to do a lot more than the average little tablet, right? Like, obviously a piece of paper, a journal or anything is not gonna be able to do any of this stuff. It is gonna allow you to get much more productive, do a lot more. It's got an e-reader built in, all that functionality. So realistically, if you're looking for a way to add productivity in a very cool, very sleek, very powerful way, you should definitely consider checking out the iFLYTEK AINOTE Air. This thing is awesome. But guys, as usual, I hope this video was helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next one.